We got hards on. We're going to the end.
Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and I specifically remember manifesting Lando Poland win. So I don't know what happened there. Uh, don't know what went wrong there. Pretty sure that's not how it's meant to work. Maybe I didn't read the fine print right, but yeah. Think did I curse it? I don't know what I did there. Yeah, another weekend. More disappointment as a Lando guy, but we're gonna try and be a little bit more diverse today. It was a very Lando heavy episode, last episode. Just as I sort of came to terms with my reality and what the season might be, and how that kind of differs slightly from what I thought this season was going to be. Okay, yeah, I've been brought right back down to earth. And at the moment, honestly, I'm falling to hell. We're gonna go through it, Mike Coyley. We're gonna do the race rundown, and we're gonna do the Soft and Hard Awards as always. In a race that I enjoyed watching, 6 p.m. wasn't crack of dawn or nothing, and I was entertained throughout the race. I'm watching it. I'm thinking this is good. Now, technically not a track apparently known for overtakes and stuff, or it's not great at it. But I think you saw some overtakes, not just on the straight, but in some different parts of the track. Oscar Piastri, that who shall not be named, pulling off one over Hamilton, trying to get that move done ASAP. And I enjoyed it. I missed the start slightly because I need to get back into the routine of putting an alarm on, regardless of the time the race is, because I always forget. I'm always sat there ready to go and I get distracted and I forget and I miss it. I need to get back in the routine of putting an alarm on, but obviously I've since went back and rewatched it. And yeah, you get the sort of crash. I feel like it's been a while. Maybe I'm chatting nonsense. I probably am, but it doesn't happen enough. At least that feels like I can say that, right? Where we have people crashing out on first lap, and I love that. I do love that. I love people crashing in general. I'm gonna say I don't think that should be a hot take. I think a lot of people should agree with that, because it just adds so much. And we had a bit of that, you know. But this is the problem. As you can see right now, I feel like I'm like clutching here for like what happened in this race, and I don't really remember. I do remember now because I've looked back a bit, and a lot less happened than you thought. I mean, a lot of the big controversy, I might have even titled the video it myself, is about Max Verstappen and the whole penalty thing. And obviously, I came into Lace Ray, but I came in exactly at the right time as they was doing all the replays, and like talking about if it's a fair penalty. Max is a genius. Oh, he's so smart. He knows what he's doing here. Oh, he's so clever how he works the system. And like from the second I saw it, you get this with VAR sometimes. Someone 2 foots a guy in the neck. Okay, and then it goes to VAR and they look at it for 10 different angles and they keep rewatching the replays. And the first time you see it, you go, oh, that's a red card. The first time I saw it, Verstappen, the overtake, he started on pole. But what happened into turn one, I immediately thought, give the place back, or like that's a fair penalty, and like that's a classic Max move. When you're getting overtaken into a corner, and you just sort of let the car roll into the corner to be ahead at the apex. And I say this is a move I know too well about Max, as if I've watched his whole racing career. I basically speak from experience of watching him do it to Lando last season a good few times. And yeah, I mean, he started on pole. Piastri got the better start. He was ahead, and Max just lets the car, just waits for him to brake and then goes later. Goes off the track, gains the advantage, in my opinion. I think it's clear as day. I don't know what Christian Horner's whole point was. I don't know why he brought sort of screenshots and receipts, sitting, across the table. I don't know. I don't know. And, love makes you do crazy things, and he's clearly in love with Max Verstappen, and, they're trying to... Are they trying to win a championship? Are Red Bull trying to win a... They're not out of it. But let me look at the driver standards, actually. It's something like that I used to keep my eye on pretty regularly, and now I avoid it at all at all possible times, mainly because of who now sits second. What I got? Driver standings, I guess. But yeah, I guess Max realistically is, some would argue, in this championship more than Lando himself. But let's check it out. Piastri is first, as we know now. After today, he's on 99 points. exactly 10 ahead of Lando, and Verstappen is third on 87. So that's 12 behind Piastri. Yeah, Max is very much in this. They're still very much trying to win a championship. I mean, let's get into quali. Let's just start at quali before we move through, because I realise I'm getting ahead of myself with the whole penalty thing. For me, it was a clear as day slap on the wrist. He gets the 5 seconds. It's nothing major anyway. And ultimately, if he had the crazy pace, he would have called. But once they went through the pits and everything had happened, and it was now just like, you are where you are. Piastri was 4.5 seconds ahead, and he just kept that. They kept both plugging in the same times. The only time Max really closed up was towards the end of the race, and I think that's because of overtaking back markers and stuff. So the pace to catch wasn't really there for Max anyway. If we talk about the qualifying of it all, I mean, what would I rate that out of 10? Because I guess I got to take off my bias hat. I think it was relatively exciting. Verstappen on pole. I think it was by a very, 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 very fan margin. Okay. And Norris. And by the way, the second I saw that everyone's doing their final laps, I'm just thinking, I'm just like, come on, like, you've been ahead in all of the you've been ahead of Piastri in all of the practices, which means fuck all. But I'm trying to, cope. You've been ahead in. I do remember actually saying about 3 minutes ago, I'm not going to make it to the Lando episode. You've been ahead in Q1, Q2. I'm like, I think you're quicker here this weekend. I think you're quicker than Piastri. I think you should be on pole. You can be on pole. Just put the times in. You should be feeling confident. And then the second I saw yellow flags, or because my eyes are glued to that timing screen all the time. The second I saw, yellow in sector 2 or whatever it was. Sector 1, where the little thing pops up in the graphic, I thought it's going to, Sometimes I'm watching a race and I see that happen on the side and I go, oh, don't show me, because it might be like Lando or Hamilton. Because lest we forget, I do like other drivers. Like I'm a Hamilton guy. I was a Ricciardo guy when he was still here. There's a few people I like to back. But I'd look to the side and be like, oh, God, please not them. I'm like Ron Weasley in Harry Potter, That was, that's a niche one. Deathly Hallows Part 1. When they're in the tent and he's listening out to his family's names on the radio and he's just praying he doesn't hear his mum's name or Ginny's name or Fred's name or George's name. And then Harry's like, you think I don't know how that feels? No, you don't know how that feels. You've learned something new about me. I'm a Harry Potter head. Potter, that's what they call them. Potterheads came into mind and I thought, oh, should we be saying that? But, I mean, these days, what is looked down upon more in society? Potterhead or Potterhead. They've probably got a similar reputation. What are we doing here? This is a Formula One thing, right? We talk about Formula. Yeah, okay. Back on track. Literally. In the wall of the track. Yeah. Usually I see the yellow flags. I'm like, don't show me in case it's someone I like, and then begrudgingly you lurking like, thank God. Whereas this was the time it was like, I knew who it was before that. I was like, show me. I know who's in the wall right now, and it was more just like, is it just going to be a little thing like he's crashed but the front wing can get changed and maybe it's like a red flag and he's got enough time to change it and then no, the fucking front left tyre's off and he's crashed it out and he's like, he didn't even put in the first lap time, so now he's starting 10th and it's like, he should have been on pole, now you're going to be last. Piastri's probably going to be on pole. He wasn't, but it didn't fucking matter. And Piastri has 3 wins this year. How many races have we had? 6 or something? He's half of the races he's won. He's just like born for it, mate. He's just got the consistency. He's a Dr. Water, Lando's like a human baby to water. Although apparently you can just chuck those things straight in. I see him all the time on TikTok. Just chuck them straight in swimming pools. Apparently they float. Don't try it at home, but I do see it on TikTok. Although what I'm trying to get at is that Piastri is just like, he's just acclimatized to this already. Like, yeah, champion, world champion. And Lando's in a situation, it's like he's having to learn how to be a world champion. And you ain't got time to learn the job because you got he who should not be named breathing down your back. Either way, he crashes out, kill me now. I smashed the laptop screen down. I'm like, I refuse, I won't watch. And then about 10 seconds later, I open the stream up again, this time with my Red Bull hat on, and I'm rooting for Max. Call me shameless, I don't care, okay? I went against my own, it's disgusting, whatever, right? But in that moment, I needed Piastri, at the very least, to not be on pole. And I like Piastri. I like Piastri more than Verstappen. I've never been one to, hate Verstappen, but, when it was Hamilton, I was like Hamilton ride or die throughout the whole Hamilton versus Verstappen season. That season, obviously, I hated Verstappen due to circumstance, but I don't like out and I just hate him for no reason. And in this moment, I turned to my enemy, and guess what? The enemy of your enemy is your friend. I see Verstappen, my guy's in 10th place. I see Piastri, he's gonna be on pole. I say Max. I say Max. I say, can you do something for me? I say, can you do something for me, Max? You okay? Max. How'd you say please in Italian? I'm learning French right now on Duolingo, so you know, I'm not quite sure. But you get the aspect there, right? Mafia shit. And he did it for me. He went on pole. Just so happens that Piastri's a killer from the race start, and Max usually is as well. But this happened to be the time when he wasn't. Because I'm just thinking damage limitations. I'm thinking best case scenario, Piastri finishes second, Lando finishes third. You know, just like minimize the damage here for what was a mistake, and then go into a little bit of a break. Which, by the way, let me search what the next race is. But it wasn't to be. I mean, Piastri won. Norris finished fourth. So there was damage limitations within that, from being 10th to 4th and stuff. But yeah, I mean, he's not beat Piastri, what, in the last 3 races, is it? Maybe, you know what? It might just be in the last 2 races, and I'm just freaking out like crazy. Like, let me actually check. So this one, Piastri won, Norris was second. You know what? Actually, I'm not gonna check. Within the last 2 or 3 races he's done it. The reason I'm not gonna check is because I do want to actually talk about other stuff that isn't just Piastri and Lando. But it's just so hard because it's consuming my entire mood. Why are you always in a mood? And then I point in Piastri's direction. That was cringe. Okay, so I think that's all the qualifying. I'm going to have to give it like an 8.5, unfortunately, but I'm not happy about it. And then into the race, it was just sort of, I guess I was hoping for, well, Norris, who qualified third actually, because I think that's a key point here of what my mindset would have been for qualifying, because I believed that sometimes, like, I'll see who's on pole and I'll see who's second. Like, the way my copium brain will work is if I see Piastri on pole and say Norris was back in 6th, I would see who's second. And if it's someone like Russell, I think, oh, Russell's a madman. He'll fucking, you know, go gung-ho crazy into turn one. He's not really like that anymore. That's kind of what I'll try and convince myself. Whereas if I see someone in P2 who's a bit more reserved feeling, I'm like, oh, God, they're not going to fucking do Piastri into turn one. You know what I mean? So they probably had, like, Russell or someone third or something. It probably was like giving me a bit of hope for how the race could have panned out, and I was probably hoping there would have been a safety car towards the end of the race and bunched up the whole pack, and then maybe he could have, you know, gained from. Because oh my God, in the race, by the way, if we can just jump forward a little bit, when Alonso almost gets taken out by Bortoleto, I think I was this close to getting what I needed. I think Leclerc was in front leading the race at that point. Norris was second and both hadn't pitted, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, I got teased to oblivion, right? That is exactly what I needed, and then it just didn't happen, and my balls were blue as they were blue. But yeah, in terms of the race now going into it, obviously they had that crash on the first couple laps. That's a bit of fun, that's a bit nice. And then from there on out, it was just sort of Verstappen holding the gap, I guess, to Piastri. Lando was doing some moves, cutting through the pack. He had to hold. What kind of annoyed me about Lando is he had to learn. He had to learn the strategy to overtake Hamilton. That like for like 2-3 laps, and it was just like, I remember, I've seen this track before. I remember watching Hamilton, and like Leclerc having to look like I just remember this being a thing on this track for the past couple of years, right? Why was Norris like finding that out for the first time? It was like eureka moment he had to have, and like it had to be this learned thing. Do we not remember? And he did it twice. I was just like, okay. But then he gets past him, and then from there on out, he does it to everyone else. With Lando, it's the kind of thing where it's like he's a nearly man. He very rarely often has those weekends where he just proves he just does greatness, and like I feel like he's just so close to doing that one extra little thing he needs to do for it to be like, wow, great recovery drive. It was a good recovery drive, don't get me wrong. Him being road driver today, I get it. hearing this and that, but at the same time, people wrote him driver of the day just for waking up and putting on his fucking underpants in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, he'll get written driver of the day for just, you know, parking it on the starting grid, which last weekend he actually didn't even properly do. But just like, you know, it's whatever. But, you know, last weekend he should have got Russell. Just that one extra little move. This weekend he should have got Leclerc. And look, maybe, sure, he just ran out of laps. What can you do? Just slightly not enough time. But it just feels like you just want him to do that one extra little thing. Didn't quite get it done. But it's whatever. Wouldn't have made the biggest deal in the world. I think the next... Let me Google what the next race is. I believe it's Miami. And, you know, you already can see where my copium is getting... You know, where it's being sourced from here. If you remember last year in Miami. But let me see. It's just a 1 week break, right? Because I can't be doing 2. Like, you know, I get it. Let the people see their families, but not for too long, okay? Get back to work. No, 4th of May. Yeah, that should be next week. So that's maybe too long to work out, but 4th of May. Anyway, we're really gonna go into the soft, medium, hard awards. Piastri goes on to win the race. He does a great job. He does an exceptional job. I'm just gonna give him his flowers now, and it's gonna hurt me. Just know it's making my stomach flip. Not because I don't like Piastri. I like Piastri. But yeah, Verstappen couldn't put a dent into him. It's the whole anything you can do, I can do better. It just, you know, he does the I actually think Piastri should have been driver of the day. You know, he started P2, he won the thing. He did that overtake on Hamilton. I know Hamilton was on like old as fuck tyres, but still he offered a lot of excitement, and he just did everything he needed to do, to be honest. Like, with Norris, all well and good saying recovery drive, wow, what a guy, Lando the man you are. But at the same time, it's like, I would give I'd give Perez shit for this all the time. Not last season, the season before, because the amount of times he would just be out qualified by his teammate, and by a lot. You'd start like P10 or something, and then you finish P4, and it'd be like the biggest deal in the world. And it's like, yeah, but you're in a quicker car, you're coming through slower cars because of your own shit on the day prior, you know. So it's like putting Man City in the National League, and then they win it with a points record and being like, whoa, my, you know, and giving them all the praise in the world. Yeah, well done, you won, but like you shouldn't even be here in the first place. But yeah, I think Piastri probably should have been. I think he's who I gave the hard award to. I know it's a mad sentence, but he gets the hard. Hamilton, again, lacking a slight bit of pace. I'm trying to think about anyone else. This is what I mean. When you actually think about the race, like I enjoyed it in the moment, but trying to think back to it, it's kind of just like it's a bit tricky. Trying to think about like what actually happened. I don't think that was a lot. So we're going to just jump into the soft, medium, hard awards. And I'm going to give the soft to... It's like, I don't really know if anyone straight up deserves it. I'm just going to give it to Tsunoda. Because I guess if you look at it on paper, Verstappen finished second and he had 0 points because he crashed out in the first lap. I'm not exactly sure whose fault it was. I think it might just be like running out of space type thing. But if it was anyone's fault, I think it was maybe more Tsunoda's fault than Gasly, right? Because Tsunoda was the car behind and he clips the inside tyre. Maybe. I didn't watch it that many times over, but I'm going to give it to Tsunoda. Medium, I'm going to give to Norris. He does a great job. Should have been on the podium, I think. I think he should have. But then again, Leclerc was really Leclerc was really quick in his own right, so it's tricky. I don't really know what to say about that. So I'm going to give Lando he's a nearly man. And that's unfortunate to find out right now. You know what? I'm going to be a little bit more positive. I want to end on a positive note in terms of the Lando thing. It's Miami. It's where he got his first race win. Hopefully it's going to build confidence. He's got a week to think about it, a week to chill out, a week to go party and break his nose again and, you know, let that play into things. And just, you know, mellow out. And hopefully that can fuel him and he can be on pole and he can win, you know. Fingers crossed. Fourth time's the charm. Fifth time's the charm. What? How many times have we got now? I don't know. This has been one of my worst episodes ever. This is a terrible performance. I've been all over the place. I've had nothing really to say. I've been trying to stretch out information. I've not done my best job here. I know that, but at least know that I'm acknowledging that. Not my best not my best work here. I mean, I'm sitting on the edge of a bed speaking into, you know, iPhone earphones. So it's not exactly that. This is like, you know, It's not the Joe Rogan experience. I don't listen to Joe Rogan, but that's just the first big podcast I could think of. It basically, on reflection, if I'm looking at myself here, you could argue I had a bit of a Lando performance today. Yeah, I got to stop taking shots at my own guy, but that's my way of coping. That's my way of getting through it. We all deal with loss in different ways. All right. On to Miami. I'm looking forward to it. I like Miami. It'll be a nice vibe. America. Is that going to be is that an early start again, or is that like a late one? Because I don't tell me it's like I'd rather 9 p.m. than even 9 a.m. Give it to me straight, doctor. Give it to me straight, doctor. It's 9 p.m. Oh my god, he's only gonna call it. Yeah, that's all. Am I missing something big? You know what it usually is? I think there's usually more fallout after the races. I feel like there's usually more like, oh, this guy's disqualified because he wore his floor down. This guy's disqualified because he drank too much water or something. This guy's disqualified. His haircut was a little bit too fine. He came in underway. This guy, there's usually more like stuff to like see after the race. This one kind of just came and went. But I don't think it was bad. I don't usually score the whole races. It's probably like the third or fourth best race of the year. Australia was obviously good. Last week was good. Where was that? No, not China. Where was last week? That's this week. Saudi Arabia was this week. Bahrain. Yeah, Bahrain was good, although it wasn't good for me. So this one was probably third or fourth, right? Because Japan and, as much as at least I got decent points in those ones, Japan was obviously shite, as was China. And if there's anyone else in there that I'm forgetting, then clearly it wasn't too memorable. Anyway, that's all. Again, sorry for the bad app. I just never got into flow state here. But yeah, hopefully we'll do better next week as I try and say something for an episode in a week break where I've got nothing to say. But we'll think of something. We'll try. Thanks. And see you then. That was bad.